What's going on, guys? Facebook Live, Suits Channel, Robbie Wheaton.
Hey guys.
We've got some crazy stuff. crazy stuff. But, of course, obviously the first thing we're really going to talk about is some of the things that are going on concerning the shooting. But before we get started, really appreciate Robbie coming in, and he's got a couple of stories that are just unbelievable.
Antics.
Yeah,
Antics.
well, I don't know. But, I mean, unbelievable. But Robbie's been a gunsmith for over 20 years, custom guns, 1911s, builds rifles, competitive shooter, you name it. And so it's really great to have Robbie with us. Of course, many of you that follow the Facebook Live, you know Robbie, but it's just a great asset. And so, you know, especially with questions and answers. But check out WheatonArms.com if you're looking for Glock parts. Does great barrels. And also the trigger, flat face trigger, you know, and I always have to say this, it's the best on the market, hands down. Also, we appreciate Sarah Mack. She's over on the computer monitoring questions and comments. Now, we're not going to take questions right at first. We're going to talk a little bit, and then we'll get to some questions. But today, we're specifically going to get into some of the things that happened over the past week. And guys, I know we're all heartbroken. I mean, it is a horrible tragedy, and you know, and my thoughts and prayers, most prayers, are with the families, the victims. I mean, it's just horrific. And you know, in fact, it was the next day. Sarah Mack was taking my son Grant. They were and my niece. They were going up to the local Walmart, and I said, "No, you're not going there right now." You know, it's just such a terrible thing. And she went to Walgreens instead. But, you know, those things can happen anywhere.
That's right. Any small town, you know, any big city, it can happen absolutely anywhere. And it's our responsibility to make sure that we remain vigilant at all times.
And, you know, that is the big point. So here's the thing. You know, these acts of the guys that did it, one of them was leftist, and had a lot of signs before anything happened, but he purchased the firearm, from what I understand, legally. Bought it online, had it sent to his gun shop, had it went through the background checks, did everything, but he had no criminal record. But he had a huge record with personal people of things that they said the guy was just nuts already. So the second guy, of course, obviously it was more of a hate type crime. And, you know, it was toward these people in El Paso, toward, you know, actually Mexican Americans or Mexicans, you know, just Hispanics. And just a horrible thing. Just, you know, and a lot of the stories that are coming out of that are just incredible.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, guys. You know, we've got some legislation that is going to come. We're going to see it. Now, whether it passes or not, we'll see. But it is coming. There is a screaming going on by the left to have something done. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what our feelings are right now and what the answers are. And guys, I'm telling you, you know, some of this is going to be uncomfortable maybe for some. Here's the bottom line. If you want to be a victim, I mean, these shootings are horrible. They're horrible. They suck. I mean, it's terrible to have to deal with it. In fact, I think Coleon Noir put it the best. He goes, it sucks. It sucks that we have to deal with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the reality is self-defense is your responsibility, folks. These shootings are not even going to could possibly continue on. I mean, this could start a trend. Because when that happened in Ohio that Sunday morning when I got up, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, what's next? We could have another one the next day. They even stopped two. Mm-hmm. I saw on Fox News where two people were actually reported before they did it. They were planning it. They had everything laid out. Mm-hmm. Guys, the bottom line is you've got to be ready to defend yourself and your family. That's the answer. That at this point right now, it's not red flag laws. It's not all this other stuff that they're throwing out here, these Band-Aid fixes. Unfortunately, America is in a place right now because of just the moral decay, and the families are just broken in two. And there's no moral compass. And these brats, these people that have been allowed to lay on the floor and pitch a temper tantrum when they were 3, and well, he'll get over it. Now they're adults, and they can't control themselves. They have no discipline. They are just out there. The mental health system is broken down, and we have got if anything, the only answer really is to get our mental health system back in check, and people that are doing these things, not people that are just on some kind of medication necessarily, not people that have never had any kind of violent tendencies. That's not what we're looking at, and that's what the red flag laws. Those can be so abused.
Yeah,
and
most of them are so broad and so vague that it leaves it open to a lot of interpretation. Based on the judge and the judge's personal feelings, maybe the judge and the judge's personal leanings, whether he leans to the right or to the left, could affect his decision. That could have a huge impact on someone's life.
Right. Well, it's like us. We own a lot of firearms, and people know that we're carrying AR-15s in the house, and we could have a neighbor.
That's right.
That just looks over and goes, that guy's crazy. He's got guns. He's got this. He's got these carrying in cases of ammunition. You can be reported. See, that is the danger. I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm on the security team at our church. It's a really large church, and he's a highway patrol, state highway patrol. And he told me, he said there was a guy, a friend of his, that he and his wife were going through a pretty nasty divorce. There had been no abuse at all, but she had had a restraining order against him just because she was angry. She was just super angry. She put a tracker, a GPS tracker on his vehicle. And she would appear at places where he was and walk up to him and then call the police on him. And that's the kind of stuff that with these red flag laws not necessarily the same, but definitely that kind of mentality. And so, guys, I'm telling you, though, the bottom line is that we have the Second Amendment to give us the ability. It allows us. They're our God-given right. It's not really that they give us the right. We have it's a natural right. Self-defense is a basic human right across the world. But countries suppress it, they stop it, they restrict it. Here in America, we haven't had that.
Yep.
And we've had these guns in our country. We're a rich heritage of firearm ownership in America. And now we're seeing this over and over. It's definitely evil. It's not the weapon. These guns in my possession will never be used for violence against in an offensive manner. These are used for self-defense and for sport. But
That's
for
right.
Self-defense is the primary reason. Sport is not a given right. Hunting is not a right. It's self-defense. That's why we have these firearms.
Exactly right.
So, and it was funny because I heard this guy on Facebook, John Burke. In fact, I posted this on Facebook. The guy is a vet. He's just straight up. I love this guy. But he said, you know what? He goes, these gun laws have not stopped anything.
No.
Both of those men bought their firearms perfectly legal with waiting periods or background checks or whatever it was. They went through the proper channels and still got through. And we've seen it over and over.
Well, look at opiates for a prime example. Opiates are prescribed by doctors, and it's one of the most abused drugs in our country.
Right.
It's a huge epidemic. But if it's prescribed by a doctor, it's perfectly legal. But just because it's legal, this person becomes addicted to it and goes out and starts committing crimes to continue to fuel that habit and that addiction that they have. A lot of the crimes that they're committing are illegal. So, just because you take something that is legal, like the opiates for a pain medication, for something that, whatever kind of problem you're having, long term ends up going into something that is very illegal.
Right.
And with firearms, our firearms they're perfectly legal. They're tools. They're
That's
tools that are used for whatever, whether you're using for hunting or self-defense or sport or whatever. They're a tool. And these people are taking a perfectly legal tool and committing illegal crimes with that tool. And it's not the tool's fault that is committing the crime, nor is it the narcotic that the doctor is prescribing to someone for pain relief. That is, that's not where the problem is. The problem is with the person themselves.
That's right.
And with their mental state. For lack of a better term, there's a normal sane person is not going to go out and commit mass murder for no reason whatsoever.
Right.
And I would consider shooting people in Texas because they were a different skin color is absolutely no reason.
No.
That is, that person has a altered mental state that allows them to be able to perceive what they're doing is just and right, and it's not. It's terrible. And those people have, they've obviously got severe mental issues. And like you were saying, with our broken mental health system, the way that it is right now, we don't have institutions where these people are placed anymore.
Right.
There, a lot of these people with severe mental issues they're living at home with their mom and dad, and it's their parents' responsibility to try and take care of them, or they're homeless and they live on the street, and they're begging for money or robbing or stealing or whatever, a lot of petty crimes. But that's when all of our mental institutions started closing down several decades ago. These people were just basically abandoned.
That's right.
and left to fend for themselves. And that's where we're starting to see a lot of this crime, especially with these mass murders and a lot of even your smaller petty crimes that maybe we didn't see in the past, is because all of these people, instead of being institutionalized and helped for their mental illness that they have, they're just turned loose on society.
Well, and they're tormented.
They are.
They don't really know. And it's like the guy in California that went to the Garlic Festival. And from what I think, he had an AK-47. I can't recall exactly. We've had so many, but he cut through a fence. It was a gun-free zone. In fact, you couldn't even carry a pocket knife in there. And they had law enforcement there, and in law enforcement, guys, a lot of times is a really strong deterrent from these things.
Yep.
But the law enforcement was there and got to that guy within like a minute, but it was too late. But here's the thing: California, strong background checks. I mean, they have some of the strictest gun laws in the country.
That's right.
And yet, this guy was able to go and to do what he did, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yep.
Sometimes these guys just don't. They just don't have time. Now, the one thing is, in Ohio, law enforcement was there within 20 seconds. 20 seconds, and they took him out in about 30 seconds. Now, listen. It's not law enforcement's responsibility to defend you. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility. And when we give away our rights for self-defense to law enforcement, which we need to support law enforcement, those guys are under an assault.
Yeah. Overworked, underpaid, underappreciated.
But you know what?
That is a thankless job that
you
those
see
guys
that video
do every
though,
day.
boy? Those boys were going right to it, and
That's right.
I was so impressed with what they did. They were going after this guy with an AR-15 with pistols,
with handguns. Yep.
But buddy, they took him out. The thing is, if they hadn't gotten to him, he was going into the club, and he had a lot more ammunition. Mm-hmm. If someone had been there, a concealed carry holder, someone that was willing to defend their life and the lives of others, that would have stopped a lot sooner. 20 seconds is a lot of time, though.
Well, Texas was 6 minutes. The response
Yeah,
time.
oh my gosh.
That is, I assure you, that will be the longest 6 minutes of every person's life that was in that Walmart.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
And those poor police officers, they're doing everything that they can to get there to protect these people, but there's traffic, there's red lights. There's just things. There's response time, and at the end of the day, 6 minutes is still a great response time. But in that 6 minutes, that's where it is your responsibility to be able to protect yourself, and your right to be able to protect yourself until law enforcement gets there to either stop the threat or arrest the suspect.
Well, the thing is I go to Walmart. Yeah. I'm walking around. I'm open. Mm-hmm. I'm there. There I am, walking through the store. The old saying is, it's 3 feet, 3 seconds, 3 shots. 3 seconds, you're gone. So 20 seconds, 30 seconds, you've got to take the responsibility. And guys, I know if you're here on Facebook Live right now, typically, now unless we have some people trolling in, I don't know yet. But the thing is you're watching because you already have a mindset for self-defense.
Yes.
Or you wouldn't be here. That is my big thing. It's not about hunting. It's not really about target shooting or anything else. It's all about people taking the responsibility. From the beginning, people taking the responsibility for self-defense. It is your responsibility. There was one in El Paso, there was a mother who shielded her child and she took bullets. Mm-hmm. That is a sad, sad thing. I mean, it breaks my heart to think that that woman was just a victim. Now, if she had a firearm, would she have been able to deploy it, blah, blah, blah. You know, what ifs aren't going to count.
Yep.
But here's the thing. If I had been there and I was willing to engage, if I was able in this vicinity to engage him, I could have stopped it. And we've seen it over and over. Whenever someone does resist, those guys kind of fall apart.
Well, look at that guy. As soon as law enforcement showed up, he surrendered and gave up his gun. And they arrested him.
Good guy with a gun is the only thing that's going to stop a bad guy with a gun. That's it. That's all. You know, it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. You watch these movies. You know, and even liberals, they enjoy these movies. We all enjoy. I mean, the actors even. A lot of them are gun control freakazoids. Well, I could say a lot worse. We have a family-friendly Facebook Live. This is not the fun Facebook Live that we usually have, guys. But, you know, the thing is, they applaud the guy that's good with the gun. They want that guy to get that gun. They want him to have it. They love that he's able to pull it out and use it. I mean, that's us, people. That's us, law-abiding people that want to do the right thing. I have never wanted to hurt anybody with a gun.
No.
Ever. And I mean, it's just beyond. And you know what? I've trained my children. I've trained my family. I've trained my friends. You know, they know we are all about defense. And the last thing in the world that you and I would ever want to do is to have to hurt someone.
That's right.
Except for the story we're going to tell in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about that in a minute. People, this is the deal. Go out and get training. Go to the range. Range really is okay, and you need to at least be doing that. You need to get very familiar with your firearm, but get good training. And go to someone, there's tons, because there's a lot of veterans that have started self-defense classes.
Yep.
Go to your local indoor range. They provide a lot of things. Get involved with IDPA. Those things will help fine-tune your skill. If you're just going to the range and putting up a paper target, you know, and you're shooting, that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But going out and learning and training and being ready to defend, drawing your pistol, being safe, but drawing that pistol, learning how to draw it. I'm always, you know, pulling my gun out, training with it. And you've got to do that because, guys, the bottom line is law enforcement will not be there to protect you. They will not. If they are, you are very fortunate.
That's right. Go buy that lottery ticket.
Yeah, you are very fortunate. So my big message is, number one, is there are no laws that would have stopped that. We have 20,000 laws on the books, federal, not including state, 20,000. And they did not stop this at all. There was nothing that could have stopped that as far as that. Now, if we'd have had some, again, mental health, you know, my wife worked as a labor and delivery nurse for over 20 years. And there was a section at the hospital that was for mentally ill people. Mm-hmm. They cared for them. They took care of them. That place closed. You know why? Because there wasn't a lot of money in that. It was a drain on the hospital. And so we've got to get the health care taken care of. Trump right now, you know, and a lot of people last night, we have Patreon Live on Monday nights. I do that for my Patreon members only. And we do some giveaways and have fun. And guys, I'm telling you, YouTube is getting more and more strict, and this will just add to it.
Yep.
So for us to stay on YouTube, which we are reaching the masses, we are reaching people, just like you, just like people that watch the videos, and they get interested in firearms. Let me tell you, you can call your congressman, you can raise total hell, you can get involved in all the different gun groups. But in the end, we are fighting a battle of attrition, people. We have got to we've got to recruit more people to have the same mindset that we do. Second Amendment, taking people out to shoot, telling them, hey guys, it's your responsibility for self-defense. When my 16-year-old son is here by himself, we may have to go somewhere, he's here. He has a gun available to him. I do not want him to be a victim. And Grant can shoot. If you hadn't seen my last Beretta video I just uploaded, I have him shooting, and buddy, he knows how to shoot. But the thing is, I want him to be protected. It is vital for him to have the ability for self-defense. Same thing with you guys. Please take self-defense really seriously. Use this. Take your friends, people that are not shooters. Take them out to the range. They will become interested in firearms. Then, when CNN comes on, or even Fox News comes on and says, well, this is some legislation coming down, they're like, they're not taking my gun. Mm-hmm. They'll notice it. They'll think about it, and they'll start to act. Yeah, we need to get involved. We need to call our congressman. We need to do all those things, no doubt. But your primary purpose should be to get people that are non-shooters into shooting. Now, it's been hard. Okay, so we're past our 15 minutes, so we're going to stop here for just a second. I need to take a deep breath.
Deep breath.
Woo! Guys, I am so passionate about this. It is not. We need to get rid of all the gun laws. You know what? This guy, he can go buy a gun. But when you go to do what you do, you got 20 people facing you that are law-abiding citizens that are going to take you out. And you know what? To me, someone that's a felon, it's wrong, especially if they're a white-collar felon, for them to not have the right to defend their own life once they pay their debt to society. Once you pay your debt to the society, I have friends, not a lot of them, but I do have friends that were, when they were young, they got in trouble, something happened, I did a bunch of dumb stuff when I was young. I probably could have gotten in trouble like that. Gotten in trouble, had a felony. Now, 20 years later, they can't defend themselves in their own freaking home. That is wrong. Yep. That is not justice. That is morally wrong. So to me, people that are hell-bent to do damage and do violence, they need to be stopped. They need to be kept in jails where they need to be. Yep. So, okay, we're going to stop.
Trump had some really good points yesterday with his little speech that he made yesterday morning. It was very short and very to the point, but he made some very, very good points about a lot of things in our country that need to be addressed and need to be fixed.
Well, I'm glad he's on the health care. On the mental health thing.
Yes.
He is. Now, we're going to see, guys. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen as far as Trump goes. I'm very optimistic that he is threw this immigration thing in there, which I think is so funny. Yeah. Because now the Democrats are going, yeah. And so, we'll see, guys. We're going to see in the next few weeks where Trump really stands.
Yeah.
Now, I know he's for these red flag laws. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Here's the deal, guys. This is the thing. He is not a big Second Amendment guy. He knows all about ARs. He knows all about that stuff. He does have his son Donald, who is always at the NRA conventions, always buying guns, he's a big pro-gun guy. Mm-hmm. But Donald he's misinformed with the red flag laws. And I'll tell you, Dan Crenshaw, I was like, oh man, I really like Dan Crenshaw, but he came out in strong support. But here's the thing. I think we're gonna see it. Now, a lot of people have said last night, they were talking about it, they said they think it's going to be more on the state level. Mm-hmm. And so we'll see how that pans out. But guys,
that's what they're trying to push it, is more to the state level. And because I think it'll be easier for the individual states to create some mandates as far as the red flag laws than it would be for the federal government to actually come to a consensus to do something like that.
Right. Well, and then usually it's a broad thing that screws up everybody.
Yep.
I'm not for it. I am against red flag laws, and we need to stand against it. But unfortunately, I'm afraid that may be, if they're going to pass something, that may be the least, I hate to even say it. I'm not going to say it. You know what? We got to stand against it because
we
it can
absolutely
be abused.
do. Because here's the thing. It circumvents our judicial system
and due process
to reach a possible good end.
Right.
But that's not what our judicial system and our due process is set up for. You are innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
And that's the way it should always be. If you commit a crime, you're arrested, you go to court, you're found guilty, and you do your time for it. Not you're arrested and all of your assets are seized, and then you have to spend thousands of dollars to prove that you're not guilty. That's not the way that it works.
But here's the thing. If someone is making threats, that's a crime.
That's right.
If you're making threats, I'm going up to Walmart and I'm going, that's a threat.
There's already laws on the books for that.
Exactly. Yes. Okay, you know what? We need a mechanism to be able to report that. Like this one grandmother, her grandson he's already planning everything. Had it all planned out, had the weapons, had the ammunition, everything. Said where he was going to go. The grandmother called the police and they came and got him. They stopped and there was another one too, where a guy was coming up to this store and he was going to shoot up everybody and he looked kind of crazy. And so we need that kind of thing.
Well, and that was one of the things with Trump yesterday, talking about with the FBI that he was going to give the FBI a lot of leeway for searching social media to find these people that are making these posts on social media or on the internet as a whole, and to be able to find these people early before they actually go out and commit the crime. And I'm all for that. I'm all for them going through and being able to identify people that have went online and made threats. It's one thing to make a verbal threat. It's the same thing to sit there and type out a written threat.
That's true. That's true.
It's
That
the same
manifesto thing. Yeah,
that's right.
So so we're gonna take a little break here. If you have some questions, and Sarah Mac's nodding yes, so go ahead and ask a question.
Okay. Matthew asked, Don and
Hey, Matthew.
Robbie, I know you have videos on your EDC, Don. What does Robbie EDC? What do you both consider bare minimum for everyday carry?
Well,
Robbie's gonna get it out here.
there's my EDC Glock 19 Gen 3. It's got one of our Elite Pro triggers in it, one of our cobalt blue match grade barrels, and a sort of bar height sights with one of our guide rods. That's my EDC.
Okay, where's your knife?
So my knife is in the car.
Now I'll attest that Robbie does carry a knife.
Yeah.
And so, and I've given him flashlights, so I don't know if he has a flashlight. You have a flashlight?
I do. It's in the car as well with my
Okay,
knife.
well, if I was nothing fancy, we did a gear check, Robbie's going to fail.
Failed miserably.
And I don't know if y'all saw it years ago when I was out with Nothing Fancy shooting, and he did a gear check on me. He got me on video running to my car and getting everything. And since that time, I have been much better. But for me, and you asked what the minimum is. I mean, to me, this is what I carry. And it's according to what I've got on. I've got a Glock 43. I've been carrying my 19 lately for the extra magazine capacity. But my Glock 43, I've got it in a stealth gear holster. I've got it appendix style right here because it's so freaking quick to pull out. And I have my knife. I've got everything. I got my flashlight and my Olight flashlight, which, guys, they're just great lights. Got my key bar and I got my Griffin tool. But the thing is whatever you do carry. I carry a knife, a flashlight, of course my billfold, my phone, and I carry my handgun and an extra magazine. As far as, to me, that's pretty much minimum. I don't always carry a multi-tool, even though I've been doing some reviews on Sensible Prepper with the really small micro multi-tools. So I have been carrying the Leatherman juice, the Leatherman juice, and it's a great little tool. So to me, those are the items. And sometimes in the wintertime, I'll carry a ankle holster, with a pistol in it. But, okay.
Al Cassidy says, love your video, Such. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
everything you do. Without causing a panic buy, do y'all think ammo stockpiling should be a focus at this point?
Yes,
Mikey?
yes. I'm sorry, go ahead. Let me ask that question before you finish.
I tried to keep going fast because I knew you were going to do it.
I'm sorry.
My concern is new ammo laws will be coming down the pipe now.
Yes. Listen, I have one of my Seth's one of his best friends. He just bought him an AR-15, and he just bought him a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, and he's just getting into guns. He's 19, and so he's all excited. And he was talking about, I need a rig. I said, no, you don't. You need ammunition and magazines right now. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it's a panic buy, guys. We need to be buying up Now, I'm not going to run out and buy magazines because I've got
a couple.
A butt ton of magazines. Because you know what? I went through the first assault weapons ban, guys. I am dead set. Here's the deal. Ammo and magazines. Yes. Buy them now. Because if there is an assault weapons ban of any sort, buy an AR-15. If you don't have an AR-15 or an AK-47 or whatever, you know what? Now's the time to do it. Whatever. It just is.
Yeah, I saw online yesterday that the Palmetto State Armory, the Freedom Series rifles that you can buy for, around $400 or so, the prices are already starting to creep up on those.
Yeah,
especially with other retailers that they sell them to. The prices are already starting to go up on those.
It's because of demand.
It is.
It's
right.
supply and demand.
Yep.
So here's the thing, guys. Yes, it's time. Whether they do it or not, and they may not do anything, but I'll tell you, you get in trouble. All right, boy, we're blowing through here fast. It's 2:30. Good gosh. Okay.
Reed asks, what's y'all's opinion on weapon-mounted lights on your EDC? Too bulky or better to have it than not to have it? Usually run G19 and TLR1.
That's a good combination.
Yeah.
I personally don't. I put tritium. Now, Robbie's not big on night sights.
Yeah.
I am a big proponent of night sights, just because of a couple of situations I've been in, and one in particular where a girl was being broken into, and I got to it was a neighbor, and got to their house, and I was walking because we thought they were still in the yard hiding, and I had now a light would have been great, but I had my night sights, and after walking through and being able to see those sights, it was really comforting. Now, as far as me carrying a light, I have one on my handgun for my home defense, my G19X. I've got an Olight PL2, and that's the light. But I have also string lights in Surefire. But thing is, for me, it's bulky.
Yep.
It's bulky. I mean, for me, especially with appendix, this is already, that's like putting an optic on here. I have them. I have a bunch of different ones. But to me, I've got to feel comfortable, and I want to be comfortable with what I'm doing.
Well, and you've got your pocket light instead of weapon mounted light.
Yeah.
And I'm a big proponent of the weapon mounted lights. I run fiber optics on my guns, and I generally run a weapon mounted light, either a Streamlight TLR1 or the PL. Is it the PL Mini
2?
Yep.
PL2 Mini, fully adjustable, great
Yep.
light.
So those are the two that I run. I like the PL2 Mini because it's so small and compact. It's like a third of the size of the TLR1. So I run that one a lot on my EDC gun.
But the one problem is if you've got the light on your handgun, you tend to use that, and now you've got a loaded weapon pointed at somebody. So, there's a lot of argument about that. I still feel that a weapons-mounted light has a lot of advantages.
Yep.
And if you feel comfortable, I definitely recommend it. But I like to have an outside light because if I'm pointing it, I can keep my weapon in the low. But on the other hand, having that weapon-mounted light, buddy, you have got it on right there.
Well, and there's little things like with the little light like this. If you've got the light up here, you're not silhouetting yourself with it. Like with a weapon-mounted light, a lot of times you're getting a little backlight and it's lighting you up. You can run a neck index with it, or you can index out here, and you don't get as much light on yourself, and you can actually distract someone away from you with the light being out here.
Right,
versus,
that's one thing the FBI used to do.
Yeah.
They'd put it out here. Okay. Yes.
James asked,
Hey,
armored
James.
backpacks as part of your EDC gear? ?
Yes. In fact, those panels are not that heavy. They're worth the extra weight. You can get those soft panels. I know AR-500 armor. I've got one in one of my backpacks. I've also got it I've got it in my bug out bag. I've got it in my computer bag. I've got a Maxpedition computer bag I've had for years, and in there is a panel. And then I put my laptop in it, and if I need to, I can use it. But yeah, if you carry a pack around with you a lot, I think
Yep.
that's a really smart move.
Even my little boys, I've got a plate in my little boy's backpack.
Yeah, Grant has one.
Yep.
He has one of the plates, well, yeah, the panels, in his. And if he's ever anywhere, he's got that panel.
That's right.
Matthew asked, Sarah Mack, what do you EDC on a daily basis? I ask because my daughter's about your age, 22, and I have trouble trying to answer for her from a woman's perspective. Well, I have the Glock in my purse at all
T43.
times. Yes. And then I carry usually this little Smith & Wesson. I don't know if y'all can see it. Yep. Little Smith & Wesson knife in my pocket if I have it, and if not,
I've been trying to get her to give her an upgrade, but she's been carrying that thing for years.
I love it.
I know.
use it.
And then a light.
I have one on my keys
Yeah.
and in my car.
And she has lights, but yeah, that's what she carries.
It's definitely different for women.
But it's important to have it. I
is.
know with my wife, she carries the shield. She has lights. She carries a light, and she doesn't carry a knife, I don't think, but she has them in her car, especially like for seatbelt cutting and stuff like that if she gets trapped. But it's one of those things where women already. In fact, her pocketbook she carries. Now she's been carrying it some appendix. And she's starting to get into that, but she's been carrying her pocketbook, and it is so freaking heavy. And she's like, my shoulder hurts. And she's like, oh, yeah. And I pick her pocketbook up. I'm like, good gosh, that weighs as much as my bug-out bag.
Yeah, that's a club in itself.
Yeah. She's like, wow.
Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see here. Rodney asked, do you think...
This Rodney?
Yes, Rodney.
Rodney!
His Uncle Rodney. Do you think the anti-gun guy in Dayton used an AR pistol to try and cause decision reversal on the pistol braces like what happened with the butt stocks after Vegas?
That could definitely be a possibility. and they'll use stuff like that. Of course, I haven't heard a lot of backlash out of that yet, but I'm sure that's on their agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some articles already in the Washington Post and stuff like that talking about it. So yes, you can bet that it's on their radar. But
well, if bump stocks were,
you
know, and see, it's easier to conceal, and they can come up. Yeah, that makes me want to just throw up. Actually, yes.
Tyson asks, how do I get my wife or convince her to want to carry? We've talked about this on many occasions, but she has no compassion for it.
Well, not knowing all the situation, I would say definitely get her to the range more often.
That's right.
And get the mindset, and maybe discuss about some of the self-defense shootings that have happened, or the shootings that have happened. One thing that I've done, which I didn't do this with my wife, she's just kind of bent that way. I guess that's why we made such a good couple. But you know, one thing that I do is I watch active self-protection with John Carilla. He's a friend of mine, and I watch his videos where he takes actual events like from surveillance camera, and he breaks it down, and it'll show actual shootings or robberies. And man, that is an eye opener. That will make you carry.
Yeah.
In fact, you go to a gas station and you are like on point, buddy. I mean, because that's a transitional space, and people come right in and boom, and you've got to be ready. And anybody walks up on me at a gas station, I'm ready. I'm ready to take them. So, you know, even if they're just asking for directions, I don't brought my gun, but okay.
I don't have any more
But
questions.
yeah, you know, that's a toughie, and a lot of. Here's the thing, though. Again, getting back to self-defense is your responsibility, and a woman specifically, my gosh, you know, you are a prime target.
Well, and here's the thing. I think in a lot of cases, women are out and about more than men are. You know, men are, we go to work and, you know, maybe we go have a drink with our friends or whatever, but we're not out buying groceries. We're not out at the Walmart buying clothes for our kids. We're not out at Walmart and these different stores buying back to school supplies. That's generally the kind of things that your wife does, right?
Right.
So your wife's out at the store with your kids, and you're at home maybe cutting grass or doing whatever. But it's generally your wife that's going to be out. She's the one that's going to be out in public, and she's the one that's going to be exposed and vulnerable. And that's really what you need to convey to her, is that, you know, it's her responsibility to make sure that she's protecting herself when she's out and about, because a lot of times you're not going to be there with her to protect her.
Right.
So she's got to get in that mindset to where it's her responsibility to protect herself when she's out in all these different situations. And one of the big things that I would recommend doing is get her to the range and get her shooting a lot and get her comfortable with a firearm. She's going to be a lot more apt to carry it if she's comfortable with it and not scared of it.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Female empowerment.
Well, hey, that's right. That is right. Okay.
Caleb asks, if you had to guess, what would you say the chances of an AWB magazine ban getting through in the near future are?
Zero.
Do you think it depends on whether the Democrats take the Senate presidency or not?
No.
Up until the election next year, I think the odds of anything significant, any kind of significant ban happening is going to be about zero, because none of these politicians want to rock the boat with an election year coming up and know that could affect their jobs, right? So they're going to want to do as much posturing as possible with as little action as possible, and try and deflect and point to someone else, the right pointing to the left pointing to the right. It's your fault. No one wants to do anything right now because they're worried that they're not going to get reelected next term. And then
too, the Democrats can just blame the Republicans for not doing anything.
That's right.
You know, but you know, we don't know. We really don't. But I do. I feel the same way Robbie does. I doubt we're going to get anything. But I think, if you'll listen, now there are obviously some people saying we need to ban assault weapons, and of course I know what assault weapons are, and an AR-15.
And what I'm talking about is on the federal level too, not on the state level. You could very well see some significant changes on the state level that you're not going to see on the federal level, because it's easier on the state level to make legal changes to the laws.
Right, like Ohio, that could be a definite place that could really get a lot of restrictions.
Yep.
So, you know, but in Texas, it's a little more difficult. You got Greg Abbott down there who's staunch Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the thing is again, ammunition and magazines, regardless, Of course, if you've got your AR-15 pistol, that's going to really suck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick asks, Such, I
What's up,
carry pepper spray as a non-lethal option as part of my EDC. What is your view on that? Thanks.
Well, the gun is not always the answer. There are times where non-lethal is important. It's funny, in my Hummer, I was at a truck stop. We were driving somewhere, and they had one of these tire checkers. And it just has a lead weight at the bottom, and you're supposed to, I don't know. It's for self-defense. And so, I just put that in my vehicle. Now, that may not be legal in our state. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't, not in my car. I mean, so, anyway, maybe I'll check that out before I leave it in there. But, I have it down there in case I need to pull that thing out for a non-lethal. I mean, if you're facing someone that's unarmed, you got to be careful. The other part, though, is someone can overcome you, even in a non-lethal situation. So, but I think it's definitely warranted. I keep bear pepper spray in my shop, and I keep it right next to the door. And if my kids keep bugging me, I'm just going to spray.
Yeah, that's I'm over there.
My wife keeps coming over there, I'm going to spray her.
But something to always consider with any type of pepper spray, whether it's a bear spray or the personal defense little sprays and stuff, is splashback. You draw it and you go to spray somebody, they're coming at you in an aggressive manner from me to you, and you draw back and you spray them with it, you're going to get backsplash off of that, and you could be as blinded as the person that you're spraying. So you have something, and we kind of saw it when we were playing with the pepper balls a few weeks ago, right? With the backsplash, even off of that, blowing back. Right. So it's always something that you need to be aware of. And honestly, if you've never been sprayed with pepper spray, I really recommend you buying you one and testing it out so you understand what it does. Because
it's not going to be fun, I can tell you that.
Well, it's the thing. If you don't know what it does, you don't know what to expect. And if you get splashback on you and it gets in your eyes and gets in your nose, then you may panic because you've never experienced anything like that before.
Right.
So it's something that I would recommend you experience for yourself so you know what to expect if it does get back on you.
Well, and one thing I do want to recommend, I would go with pepper spray way before I go with some of these stun guns.
Yeah.
If somebody hits me with a stun gun, I'm going to beat the heck out of them. Because those things just hurt, but they don't really do anything.
Yeah.
So be careful with carrying a stun gun. Okay.
Caleb says, sorry for the second question.
It's all right.
Here in Texas, things like brass knuckles will be legal starting on September 1st.
Congratulations.
Worth adding to the EDC or not?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, okay, which leads us to a little story we need to tell. Brass knuckles kind of brought it all up. Tell us about your as fast as you can, because we don't have a lot of time. But tell us your situation that happened. When was it? Yesterday.
Yeah. So
now Robbie's he's 6'4" already. So I mean, okay, go ahead.
Full grown.
I'm still growing.
But I'm at home yesterday and working from the house for a little bit in my office, and my wife had called me and she was asking me what I wanted for dinner. So I'm talking with her on the phone, and this pickup truck drives through our cul-de-sac and stops and backs up my driveway. A little backstory, we had a tornado in our neighborhood last week, and we lost about 18 trees in our backyard, so it's a mess right now. So I've got my trailer in my driveway, and had a bunch of limbs and stuff and some stumps loaded on it to take to the landfill. And this pickup truck backs up my driveway, and a lot of times when I'm in the house, I'm either wearing flip-flops or just a pair of socks. I don't have my shoes on because my wife, she fusses at me constantly about wearing shoes in the house and tracking dirt all through. And if you've got a wife, you understand.
That.
Okay. So I've got a pair of socks on, and I'm talking to my wife, and I see this pickup truck back up my driveway, and I'm waiting on a couple of people to come by the house, and I'm looking at this vehicle, and I'm like, I know that none of the people that are coming by my house is driving a vehicle like this. And so I tell my wife, I'm like, look, I need to get off the phone, and I need to go outside because I think this guy is backing up my driveway going to steal my trailer. And I hang up the phone, and I walk out the front door, and sure enough, this guy literally has already picked my trailer up, put it on the ball of his truck, and is latching it down, getting ready to drive off with my trailer. Now bear in mind, a few years ago we had a trailer stolen from our business, and I was pretty upset about that. They ended up catching both of the guys. One of them ended up dying, and he got ran over, and the other one, I don't know what happened, he was in jail or something. So karma, it's a real thing, right? So I come out the front door. This guy is hooking my trailer up. I asked him in as polite a manner as I could what he thought he was doing.
That's not what you told me.
Yeah, like I said, it's a family-friendly show.
That's
Don.
true.
It's a family-friendly show. So I asked him what he thought he was doing, and proceeded to help him to unhook my trailer from his truck in as gentle a manner as I could. But look, here's the thing: in a situation like that, if you're going to approach someone and it was obvious that this guy was a drug user, he was his meth or coke or something like that, his eyes, he had no pupils whatsoever. His eyes were completely black from the drug use. And but if you're going to approach someone like that, you need to make sure that you are confident in your abilities to be able to handle yourself, and I am, and I did.
His knuckles are still swollen.
Yes, yep, and my knees. But it's my trailer's safe, so no worries with the trailer. Trailer's safe. This man learned a lifelong lesson. Maybe knock first. But,
well, he didn't tell it like he told me, but I'll let that go because the guy probably ended up in the hospital. So it's. But and what's crazy is I asked him, first thing I asked him, I said, "Do you have your gun on you?" And he said, "Nope."
Nope.
But Robbie's a big boy. But anyway, it's just the things. Here's the thing, guys, and this is kind of the same mentality. What do? You wait for the police?
Well, and here's the thing.
You wait for them. What do you do?
Normally, I carry in my house, right? I've almost always got a gun on in my house, and there's several guns throughout the house. But I had been upstairs in my office doing some work, and usually when I'm sitting in my office, I'll take my pistol out of my waistband and I lay it on my desk. My wife had called, and I went downstairs to get me something to drink while I was talking to her on the phone, and I left my pistol upstairs on my nightstand or on my desk. So when I came downstairs and see this guy pulling up my driveway, there wasn't enough time for me to go upstairs and get my pistol. I didn't even have enough time to put my shoes on. I went out the front door in a pair of socks, and let me just say that was a first in a pair of socks.
All right. Well, okay. So let's see what we got. Okay, we got some more questions.
Yes, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
Has anyone looked at the palm spray that Active Self-Protection has decided to use?
No.
Not familiar with that one.
No, I'll have to check that out. In fact, it was funny. I was looking at some stuff today on video, and I saw one of his videos on the side, and I said, I need to check it out. So I'll have to check that out. Palm spray. That's interesting.
Scott asked, whatever happened to the video with the pepper ball guns?
Well, it's up. It's on Suits channel. And not only did Robbie and I both have experiences with it, we also, the guy that actually owns the company, Brian, sent me some video of him and his head of marketing, and we've got it included. And the head of marketing, that guy got belted.
Wow.
You need to check it out. It's the Berna HD, and I've had it up a couple of weeks now, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, check it out. It's something else. I mean, that stuff is nasty.
I'll tell you, I can attest to it. Those pepper balls are no joke. They are no joke.
But it's funny. You got in the eyes. You couldn't even see. I mean, for 20 minutes we were down there, and he was washing his water out. Went up to the pool. We were going to jump in the pool. We ended up not doing it. Just got a hose and just
flushing my eyes with a hose pipe, and here in the South we call it a hose pipe.
Yeah,
it's a double negative, but whatever.
But for me, I got it in the lungs.
Yeah.
I didn't get it in the eyes so much, but I got it in the lungs, and it didn't even hit us. It hit right at the wall behind us, so it hit the fence, and then so I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to throw up. In fact, it was everything I could do to keep from throwing up. I said, that's all I need is be on YouTube, because I think that video already has over 100-something thousand views on it, throwing up. But
and you think about it, like you said, we're shooting this wooden wall behind us, and we're getting the splashback coming back over our shoulder.
Yeah.
And but you imagine shooting someone with a full magazine of that in the chest or in the neck or in the face, and those things exploding literally.
Well, the marketing guy had a board in front of him, because those things, man, I got shot with a couple of them, and it hurt. I used to play paintball a lot, but this, man, it hurt.
It's like shooting the shot with a paintball gun with a marble in it.
Yeah,
because they're hard and solid.
He was holding that board, and they shot 3 rounds, and I'm telling you, it put him out.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. No, we're good. Okay, so the big thing is, guys, the big thing is right now, self-defense is your responsibility. It's not anyone else's. When you're faced with an active shooter, when you're faced in a bad situation,
Yep.
You can't rely on the police. It's not their job. Your job is to protect yourself and your family.
That's right. And have the mindset to be able to make that split-second decision that you're going to protect yourself and that you're going to protect those around you. You know, there was a soldier in that Walmart in Texas, and he was unarmed, but you know, he did everything that he could to get a bunch of kids out of the store. You know, and that's what soldiers do. They're gonna go and do the right thing. You know, and he goes in there and he's getting these kids out and shuttling these kids out of the store to protect them. Now, if he would have had a firearm and carrying, he could have been a lot more proactive.
Was there not a guy though? I thought there was a CWP holder that was actually helping people out too.
There may have been.
Didn't act, and he was kind of getting some criticism for it.
Not everyone has that mindset.
But you know, well, here's the deal, and this is the deal.
Yeah.
This is the real deal. Get the mindset.
Yeah.
Get the freaking mindset. If you are carrying a firearm, you should, number one, you're defending yourself, but it's not selfish.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to defend others. When Gabby Gifford or whatever, when she was shot, there was a CWP holder that was hiding armed behind this monument.
Yeah.
That could have stopped. At least could have done something. So, yeah, I know, because my mom used to be that way. She wouldn't even touch a gun. She wouldn't touch a gun. We had a break-in at our house, and we were there, me and my mom and my little brother, and I was like 5, and I'll never forget it. I was looking at the screen door, and the guy was sitting there jerking the thing, trying to get open. And, you know, my mom was scared to death of guns. My dad had gone out and bought a Ruger 22 Bearcat, of all things. And, that, you know, but that was better than nothing.
That's right. But
it ended up, the guy didn't actually get in. But I'm going to tell you what, that is ingrained in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That may be one of the reasons. And two, we were in the jewelry, my family was in the jewelry business for years and years, and we made custom jewelry. And man, you know, somebody come breaking in there. And in fact, we had a good friend of ours that was robbed at gunpoint, just right, not too far from us. And, you know, the thing is you got to make a decision. And the decision is my life is worth it. And I'm going to do what it takes. Here's the thing, guys.
It's not even your life. It's my life and the lives of those around me
are
worth me protecting myself and protecting them.
Well, I've been in situations before where it was not permissible to carry a firearm, and I did anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Just did. I'm not going to tell you where, but I did, and because I was with my family. And I told, in fact, one of my sons was laughing about it. He goes, "Yeah, Dad's carrying it." I said, "Here's the deal."
Yep.
I said, if I'm faced with someone that is shooting people and I don't have my firearm and you get shot to where if I had my firearm I could have stopped it.
Yep.
I will not do it. I will not, and others. But here's the thing, guys. This is something that, you know, that I've just been thinking about lately. You know, you see these movies like Robin Hood where, you know, they get in there and there's this village and these people are attacking from all these different places, and so they get these farmers out and they train them to fight, you know, and they're doing all this and they're training them, you know, and they're like, well, we're just farmers. How are we going to stand against this army? These are veteran. Train now.
That's right.
Because those marauding army or whatever, those armies that are coming, those people that are coming. And for you to go, well, we're going to lay down our guns, we're going to lay down our arms, we're not going to fight, we're just farmers. And then they slaughter everyone. Mm-hmm. What kind of bull crap is that? I'm sorry, guys. I'm fired up. But you know what? Self-defense. I care about you people. I care.
That's right.
And I started this channel because people started, I just started doing a video and then people kept asking questions. And I was like, wow, people are asking questions. So it became my mission to take responsibility for my self-defense and for yours and to encourage you to do the same. And, you know, the thing is, a lot of times the media has painted us in this little box. Like, oh, the gun owners, they're kind of on the fringe. They're kind of crazy. And, you know, why do you need a gun? Why do you need that? And, you know, when YouTube first started, people would say, you know what? I don't feel alone. I feel like, you know, that there are other people out there. I'm not in the minority.
Well, it's easy to say that when you're surrounded by people that are carrying guns to protect you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing. You know what? You're going to take our guns. Take away those bodyguards' guns, too.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't happening.
Yep.
It ain't happening. Okay. We've got 5 minutes. So if you have some last-minute questions, you know, you want to get screamed at. Robbie's beating up the neighbor, and I'm over here yelling at people.
I have no idea who that guy was.
Oh, Lord. That guy got a butt whooping. I'll tell you. I'll just tell you that, whether he's going to tell you or not. But I'll tell you, he got a butt whooping. I can promise you that. And it's like one of those. Said you should see the other guy. Well, you should see. Probably shouldn't see the other guy. But guys, again, we've got to really take a stand here. And no red flag laws. No red flag laws.
But that happened yesterday. It really goes back to exactly what we've been talking about here today. We called the police afterwards, and it took them about 10 or 15 minutes to get to the house.
Which wasn't bad.
No, it's a lot better than 47 minutes, which it took them the last time.
Right.
So, but 10 or 15 minutes for them to get to the house. But in that amount of time, this guy could have pulled up. He could have broke into my house. He could have broke into my building, stole my trailer. If I wouldn't have been home, there's no telling what he would have done.
Right.
But because I was there and I was able to defend myself and to defend my property, he left with nothing but a bruised ego. And that's your responsibility as well, to make sure that you're able to protect yourself and to defend yourself if the need arises. Because law enforcement, just like Don said, law enforcement is not going to be there when you need them the most. They're going to be there afterwards to take a report and to clean up the scene.
And we need law enforcement. Don't
Absolutely.
get us wrong. We are
Absolutely.
very supportive of law enforcement.
Yes.
Shane asked, do you guys carry a backup gun?
It's according to what I'm doing. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I've got my North American Pug and 22 Magnum in my pocket. It's according to situations. If I'm wearing long pants, I like to carry an ankle holster. I have an Apache, DeSantis Apache. Has this kind of a false sheepskin. It makes it really comfortable to wear. But yeah, I mean, to me, here's the thing, guys, and just with Robbie, if someone's out there breaking into something or stealing something, also confronting them unarmed.
Yep.
That guy might be a freaking ninja. You don't know what not ninja. You don't know what he could be a ninja. He could be an MMA fighter. I mean, you don't know.
Right.
Just because you look at somebody, you don't know what they can do, and they can get the upper hand on you. And so, really, having the right tools, the best tools that you can have.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's the thing. The reason why we went from these different empires all this time is because we started out at the copper. I mean, the Egyptian army had copper weapons.
Yep.
So when the Romans came in with steel, there were no match. And that's like in the Middle East. A lot of those were like brass and different things. And when, again, Rome came up, it was because of their superior technology. They had the best weapon, and they were able to defeat them. So here's the thing. Having a firearm is the best weapon.
Yep.
It gives you the best chance. And being proficient with it. And again, please, train with your firearm. Train with it.
It's like that old saying, God made all men, Sam Colt made all men equal.
That's right. Well, it's just like this. It's like taking a football player that weighs 340 pounds. He's all muscle. He's huge. And then you've got this woman standing there that's, 5'3". She weighs, 100 and a quarter. What chance does she have against that person?
That's right. That's right. That firearm is the equalizer for her.
But with firearms on either side, they are equal.
Yep.
If she has the will and the training.
That's right.
And the will is not necessarily, it's about the will to say, you know what, my life's important, and I hate this. Again, it sucks that I've got to do this, but reality is I have to defend myself, because not only are you stopping him there, you may be stopping him for other, because it's not like the first time he's done it.
Yep.
Not the first time. So to me, women should be screaming, saying, no, you will not restrict our rights for self-defense.
Yep. Take away my ability to defend myself and protect myself.
And my family.
Absolutely. That's right.
No. So, guys, again, and here's the solution. The solution is take people out, non-shooters, people that don't have any interest really in firearms, take them out and shoot. Let them shoot. You take young boys out like that, you will produce a lifelong passion for firearms.
Mm-hmm.
And spend a little money on ammo. If nothing else, take them out and let them shoot 22.
That's right.
If you can't afford a lot. Do the best you can. And you know what? The other part is be reasonable and logical. You can't fight against these liberals. Their arguments, they're not listening to you. So the best thing to do is to be calm and give just the answers that you can. But don't lose it, because when you do, they're not going to listen to you anyway.
Yep.
and know what's going on. So, here's the deal, guys. We've got a lot coming up, and we've got to be ready. We've got to be vigilant.
Yep.
When you're out in public, if you have a CWP, you need to be ready. If you don't, listen, guys, if you don't have and some of you guys I know you can't have it. Some of you guys are watching from other countries. But if you have the ability to get a CWP, a concealed weapon permit, do it. You need to have it. And you need to be able to defend yourself and your families. Because, listen, this isn't the last of it. We're going to see more. We're going to see more of these.
Yep.
And we've got to be ready. And the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Or woman. Okay, where are we on time? We've got 3.
No, it is 3.
It's 3 o'clock.
No.
Sorry, guys. I know when it hit 2:30, I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah,
it's
I
been
know.
like 5 minutes.
And then it's already 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So some of you are going,
Like that.
"Thank goodness this is over." All right. Next time we're going to be a little bit more lighthearted, unless there's a lot of legislation coming up. Then we're going to be raising total hell. So
might get some fire in the background.
well, it's a sacred right, guys. It's a basic right. It's a right given to us by our Creator, endowed by our Creator. The right to self-defense is there. And John Locke went back into the Old Testament, the original Genesis, and pulled out every one of our amendments, every one of our constitutional amendments. So whether you're a Christian or not, whether you like that or not, that's beside the point. That's where it was. So anyway, love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that if some of you have been on the edge about concealed carry, that you are going to carry. I hope that many of you take friends out that have never shot before and make an apostle, make a convert.
There we go.
And do your part. Because the Second Amendment, guys, once it's gone, and we can't take it back. Again, I want to thank Robbie Wheaton. I really appreciate you being here.
No, it's a great time.
And I'm glad that you were actually able to overcome your foe that was stealing your trailer and beat him to a pulp. And thanks for Sarah McKenzie. WheatonArms.com. If you're looking for Glock parts, guys, barrels, triggers, and some cool new stuff that he's been doing. In fact, what was SIG P320?
SIG P320 barrels. We'll have those ready to go in the next couple of weeks.
See that's and I know there's more to come because Robbie's always got his wheels like spinning.
That's right.
And great for Sarah Mack. I want to thank her for being here. Thank you for coming out and being a part. We love it. Again, this is the fastest hour a week. If you want to support us on Patreon, please go over there and do so. Again, we are being just crushed by YouTube. And I've told those guys over on Patreon, if it wasn't for you, we would not be able to continue on YouTube, at least on Suits channel. Since we're prepper, yeah, we can do that. Suits channel, we're not able to make it that way. And so you guys are actually the ones. And we do a live on Monday nights, and we do giveaways there. So just FYI. So we're going to sign off. Thanks again. Be strong. Be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic.